Summary of Esperanza Rising by Pam Muñoz Ryan. Esperanza Ortega, who is 13, lives in plenty and comfort on El Rancho de las Rosas, her father Sixto's huge farm. It is 1930, and the pain and chaos of the Mexican Revolution have finally started to die down in Aguascalientes, Mexico, or so the protected Esperanza thinks. Esperanza and her family live a lush, beautiful life full of happiness and plenty. She hopes she will never have to leave her family's ranch, even though she is becoming more aware of an unseen river that separates her from people like Miguel, the teenage son of her housemaid Hortensia. The day before Esperanza's birthday, when the grape harvest starts, she picks flowers from her father's rose garden while she waits for him to come home from a day working in the fields. But when he doesn't show up, Esperanza and her mom start to worry. Hortensia sends her husband Alfonso, who is in charge of all the field workers and is a good friend of Sixto's, out with Miguel to find Papa. While the rest of the family waits up, Esperanza's grandmother gives her a knitting lesson and tells her not to be afraid to start over if she makes a mistake. Luis and Marco, two of Papa's older stepbrothers, stop by the house to wish everyone well, but Esperanza is wary of them. Alfonso and Miguel finally come back late that night with Papa's body in the back of their wagon. He was killed by a group of bandits. Even though Papa was a kind, generous man who loved the land and the people he hired to work on it, many people in Mexico are angry at rich landowners like Sixto. As Papa's funeral and Esperanza's birthday come and go, there is a lot of sadness and noise. Marco and Luis come to the house every day to meet with lawyers and take care of family business. However, during a meeting to settle Sixto's will, it becomes clear that they are trying to take over his land and money. Luis asks Esperanza's mother Ramona to marry him so he can get control of the ranch and help his bid for governor, but Ramona tells him she will never say yes and tells him she will never marry him. That night, Ramona wakes Esperanza up by shaking her. She tells her that the house is on fire. Ramona, Esperanza, Abuelita, Miguel, Hortensia, and Alfonso all make it out alive, but by morning, both the house and the farm have been burned down. Luis comes to comfort Ramona and give her a chance to change her mind about accepting his marriage proposal. It soon becomes clear that he and Marco burned down the ranch to try to blackmail Ramona. She tells Luis she'll think about his offer, but as soon as he leaves the house, she meets with Alfonso, Hortensia, Miguel, and Esperanza to figure out how to get away from Luis. Now that Alfonso and Hortensia don't have a job on the land, they say they want to go to California and work on a company farm with Alfonso's brother and his family. They invite Ramona to come along, but tell her that the work will be hard and tough. Ramona says that she can handle anything. The next day, she tells Luis that she agrees to his plan, but she spends the next few days planning an escape with the group and her neighbor, Sayer Rodriguez. Esperanza is heartbroken when she learns that they'll have to leave Abuelita behind. But as they part, Abuelita tells Esperanza that life is full of mountains and valleys, just like crochet. Esperanza and the others left quickly for their trip late one night. They will take a wagon to the nearby town of Zacatecas, where they will get on a train and be away from Esperanza's powerful uncles. At the station, Esperanza is shocked and terrified to find out that she and her family will be traveling in the same car as peasants. Ramona tries to get Esperanza to realize that they are now poor peasants just like everyone else on the train, but Esperanza refuses to let go of Papa's last gift to her, a beautiful China doll, and refuses to accept her fate. Esperanza, Ramona, and the others finally get to California after a long and hard trip. Alfonso's brother Juan, his sister-in-law Josefina, and their 3 children, Isabel, Lupe, and Pepe, are there to meet them. Isabel, who is 8 years old, wants to hear all the stories Esperanza has to tell about her wonderful life in Mexico and how rich she was. Esperanza says she is still rich and is just waiting for her rich grandmother to come visit. Esperanza is shocked when she gets to the farm and sees how bad the living conditions are. There is no indoor water, and the cabin she, Ramona, Hortensia, Miguel, and Alfonso have to share is small and drafty. Esperanza meets a girl named Marta. Marta makes fun of her for being a princess, and Esperanza worries that she'll never be happy again. Mama and Hortensia go to work in the fields the next morning, so Isabel shows Esperanza around the camp and introduces her to some of their neighbors, like Irene and Melina, who are kind. When Isabel tries to teach Esperanza how to do some chores, she is shocked by how little Esperanza knows about taking care of herself. Isabel tries to teach Esperanza how to watch the babies, do laundry, cook, and clean the house. In the meantime, Miguel and Alfonso say they have taken some rose stems from Papa's favorite rose garden and replanted them in the backyard in the hopes that they will bloom. A big party in the middle of camp gives everyone something to do, but when Marta, a radical, takes the stage and says that a strike for better pay and working conditions is going to start soon, the mood changes quickly. Many people at the party boo her out, but it's clear that she has a strong group of backers. Just when Esperanza gets the hang of taking care of the babies and keeping the house clean all day, a terrible dust storm comes and changes everything. Mama gets valley fever, a lung infection, and has to go to the hospital to get better. Esperanza thinks the worst will happen, so she gets down on herself. She knows she needs to work though, so she starts going to work with Hortensia and Josefina at the packing shed. People in the camp have heard that there will be a strike, so they are very worried. Even though white Americans from places like Oklahoma are willing to work for pennies and put Mexican workers' jobs at risk, striking for fair pay and better housing could put them out of work and force them to look for work in migrant camps. Esperanza knows the strike is important, but she is still going to work no matter what. Even though the work is hard and has turned Esperanza's hands into dry, cracked claws, she is determined to save enough money to bring her grandmother to the United States. Esperanza goes to see Mama on the weekends, but one day she hears that the infection has gotten worse and Mama can't have any guests. Miguel takes Esperanza to town to cheer her up, but when they run into Marta and her mother on the way back, Esperanza is filled with jealousy. Even though Esperanza is sad, Marta is excited for the strike to start, and Miguel is happy that he has finally found a job as a train mechanic. When the strike starts, Esperanza and her co-workers are teased every day for crossing the picket line, but they still want to keep their jobs very badly. When the immigration police, or La Migra, come to the farm to remove anyone who strikes, Esperanza helps Marta dress up as a worker. The next day, Esperanza and Miguel go to check on Marta and her mother, but they can't find them anywhere. As Isabel and Miguel are treated badly because of their race at work and school, Esperanza gets more and more upset with the way things are going. One night, she loses it and tells Miguel that no one's life is better in America. Miguel tells Esperanza to stay hopeful, but she tells him in a cruel way that she won't put up with his blind hope. After they had a fight, Miguel left the farm the next morning to look for train work in Northern California. She feels guilty and worried, but the good news that Mama is well enough to go home takes her mind off of things for a while. On Mama's first day back, Esperanza opens her suitcase to show her mother all the money she's worked so hard to save. She is shocked to find that all of her money is gone. Everyone thinks that Miguel took the money, and Alfonso says he will give Esperanza the money back. Mama gets stronger, and finally, Papa's roses start to bloom. Things are nice and easy for a change, but then Alfonso hears that Miguel is taking a bus back to Los Angeles. Everyone goes to the station to meet him, worried and confused. But when he gets off the bus with Abuelita, everyone is happy. Miguel used Esperanza's money to go to Mexico and get her back. When they all get back to the farm and Abuelita and Ramona are happy to see them again, they are filled with joy. The day before she turns 14, Esperanza asks Miguel to drive her out to the foothills. She wants to listen for the earth's heartbeat, a practice she and her father started when she was young. As Esperanza tells Miguel to lie down in the grass with her and listen to the sounds of the earth, she imagines herself flying high in the air, looking down on all her loved ones, and then crossing a raging river with Miguel to land on the other side. There are no gifts to open at Esperanza's birthday party, but the house is full of love, joy, and warmth. Esperanza shows Isabel how to crochet, and she tells Isabel the most important thing Abuelita ever taught her: never be afraid to start over when things get hard or you make a mistake.
About the author. Pam Munoz Ryan was born in California, in the city of Bakersfield. Her mother remarried, and she and her family moved around town because of problems at home. As a kid, Pam found comfort in books. She got a job as a bilingual teacher after she graduated from college, and she finally ran a program for young children in Southern California. During a part-time master's program, she took a writing class where the teacher urged her to keep writing. After getting turned down by agents and publishers more than once, Munoz Ryan found her groove and started putting out picture books and, later, books for young people. Munoz Ryan has written more than 20 books for kids of all ages. The American Library Association, the Newbery Medal, PEN USA, and the New York Historical Society have all given her awards, funds, and prizes. Her family lives outside of San Diego.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.